Camden. The name brings scenes like these to mind: abandoned buildings, closed businesses. But there's an area where one business is booming along the Admiral Wilson Boulevard, the major highway leading to and from Philadelphia. There, the volume of traffic, coupled with the numbers of businessmen and nearby sex parlors and motels, have created the perfect climate for what has become the major activity along the boulevard: prostitution. Police say Camden has acquired a national reputation for prostitution, and girls hearing they can make upwards of $600 a day set up shop.
$250 a week is, to some people, a lot of money. Okay, I need that kind of money on a daily basis as far as I'm concerned, because my standard of living is very high.
Anita is one of the girls who works the prostitution corridor. She and the other girls stay in Camden for a while and then travel on to New Jersey's other stop along the corridor of prostitution, Atlantic City. Then they move on to places such as Baltimore, Maryland, and Detroit, Michigan, and eventually show up again in New Jersey. Broadway in Camden. This used to be where the action was. If a man wanted a prostitute, he could find one here. Even today, with prostitution activities thriving across town on the Admiral Wilson Boulevard, business is still transacted here, but to a lesser degree now, and the choice of mates is limited to transvestites and down-and-out prostitutes. Camden and Atlantic City cops trade tips about which pimps and hookers are coming their way. But short of a proposed nationwide law enforcement prostitution hookup, it's difficult to keep close tabs on the industry. Both Camden and Atlantic City vice units are understaffed, and there are always new girls out on the strip. Hookers have to be on the move. It isn't good to stay in one place for too long.
Girls we see mostly on the street are in their late teens, early 20s. And they become old and hard very fast.
Crew member Joe Martin saw that for himself in a conversation with an Atlantic City hooker recorded using a wireless microphone.
So what do you want to do for 50 bucks?
Oh, what do I get for 50?
Oh, a half and half.
Half and half? Is that for how long?
I really don't time, you know, I'm not a clock watcher. I got a room right down the street.
Yeah,
How much time do you want?
No.
Are you a clock watcher for $50? I won't give you an hour, but I'll give you a good time.
Where's your place right down there? I don't know. It's getting a bit late anyway. I really don't have 50 to spend.
Well, so how much do you got?
20.
Well, take it up your own.
Atlantic City has always had hookers, but the problem has grown since casino gambling. Police estimate there are 10 times as many girls working the 20-block strip of Pacific Avenue from North Carolina to Providence. Prior to casino gambling, there were 30 girls. Now there are some 300. Camden has also felt the impact of casino gambling. Camden cops have seen a 200% increase in prostitution, but police say what's worse is that the girls are getting younger and younger.
Within the past 6 to 8 months, we've encountered a large number of young juveniles, 11, 12, 13 years old, who are presently soliciting along the boulevard in an attempt to make money as the older girls are. But we have found that these juveniles are just young in age. They are quite mature for their age and are very streetwise.
And wow, the money's so good, it's like falling from the sky out on this boulevard.
This woman, whom we'll call Susie, should know. She's relatively new to the world's oldest profession, but claims she made $50,000 in her first 6 months working the Admiral Wilson Boulevard. She says the high stakes more than make up for any danger she faces.
All my clients are reputable, married men, clean, decent, hardworking, family men. There's 1 out of a million that's a nut. And so it's very easy to forget about that instance, you know, when maybe an hour later you have $200 in your pocket.
Susie agreed to talk to us on camera because she said she was going straight. She made a lot of money very fast, but went through it just as fast. Her pimp, or bodyguard as she likes to call him, took half. A $100 a day heroin habit and living expenses ate up the other half.
Well, I'm going to this halfway house, and I'm supposed to stay there for 6 months to graduate from the program. And once I go through the full program and get the counseling and they detox me and get me off heroin, I want to just be straight and be independent and go to work every day like a normal person should and not go back, you know, to prostitution or heroin.
Susie's words sounded very earnest. The Camden Vice Squad, which brought her in for soliciting, had hoped she meant what she said. But she didn't even last a week in the Atlantic City halfway house. Within a few days, she was back out on the boulevard. Apparently, the lure of fast money and the control of her pimp was just too much for her. Anita, whom we met earlier, is more of an old hand at the prostitution game. She gave up teaching, she says, for prostitution and finds nothing wrong with her chosen profession. But she would only talk to us with her back to the camera because she was afraid someone would know she talked. As it turned out, someone did find out. A man in this Lincoln stood watch during our entire interview.
Most women, men too for that matter, that are single, have 2 and 3 boyfriends, okay? They're all going out with these people. I'm sure they're getting little favors from these people, okay? To me, that is prostitution. Anytime you're not dealing with one individual, okay? I just choose, rather than go through that, if I'm going to get something, I'd rather be out here and get it for real rather than play games.
The games Anita plays are up front, too up front for area residents and the Camden Vice Squad. But as we will see in part 2 of our series, there seems to be very little that anyone can do about it. Yesterday, we began a special 2-part series examining the prostitution corridor between Camden and Atlantic City, a route popularized since the arrival of casino gambling in the area. Tonight, producer Janice Sellinger and I take a look at what law enforcement officials can and can't do about the problem. We begin at night along Camden's Admiral Wilson Boulevard.
You'll probably be around, right? Little?
Okay.
All right.
I'll be around here for a little while.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And you stop being so evil. Come on back.
I will.
Admiral Wilson Boulevard after dark. Girls are always at work here day or night. Business is good. There are plenty of takers. On this particular night, these 2 hookers were picked up for dates. The Johns, however, ended up being from Camden's patrol unit. They're lending a hand to the city's understaffed vice squad. Typically, only 4 men handle all of Camden's vice. In order to arrest a prostitute, the vice officer must be solicited. The officers and their unmarked cars are easily recognizable to the regulars on the boulevard.
You're a beginner? Yeah. Does your mother, or how old are you? How old are you?
Most of the girls are resigned to the fact that they have been caught when they're brought in by the police. And when their day in court comes, they typically admit they solicited the wrong guy, a cop. But there are exceptions.
You almost got a lot of people hurt out there, girl, for no reason at all.
I'll sit you in the bar. Don't even try it. Shit.
Sit down. No, right here.
Pulling on me, shit.
Okay, now, that's enough of that.
So he ain't have to pull my hand on. Okay.
The hookers are charged with soliciting and brought into the Camden Vice Unit. The paperwork is then filled out.
What's that phone number, player?
They're searched for any concealed weapons or drugs. The night we were there, the search showed the usual Vaseline and prophylactics and a pill container with a torn label, tetracycline. By doctor's prescription, the hooker said.
The thing is, in New Jersey, you have to have your name on it. And the prescribing doctor, that's scratched off. It's against the law.
So is prostitution, but it is no longer an indictable offense. It's a disorderly persons offense. Still, in places like Camden, there is bail to be paid if the girls don't want to wait for their trial in jail. A hefty $5,000 for out-of-staters, $2,500 for Jersey residents. Jersey girls can be out on the boulevard again if they can raise 10% of that $2,500, $250. That's part of the problem. Pimps are waiting with the bail money. The girls can make more out on the streets than the bail money it costs the pimps.
I'm in jail. You know for what. I swear to God. Stop being good. But y'all, you know, call around and get some ends, alright? You know that. Nothing. No, but get in touch with her, alright? Because I know she got some money stashed away. No, we ran him out today. He got my TV though. right? But if you get $40, right, give me $40, get my TV, and take it to the pawn shop, and pawn it for me, all right?
Camden is trying to crack down on the hooker problem by giving tough sentences. 30 days in jail, a $250 fine, and a year's probation. But the sentencing actually given out is up to the judge. Putting them in jail is one tactic, but the Camden cops also try to help the girls. They try to get them straight jobs and help them kick their drug habits. But as we saw in part 1 of our series, that doesn't always work. Girls like Susie still opt for the streets. Meanwhile, Atlantic City finds another problem with the so-called victimless crime of prostitution. Since January 1st, prostitution-related rip-offs have topped the $1 million mark. Atlantic City cops say they get discouraged with the prostitution problem. The hookers line the 20 blocks of Pacific Avenue from North Carolina to Providence, but as soon as the police arrest the girls, they pay their fine and are back out on the street.
Immediately. And laughing. And when the citizens ask, what are we doing? It sounds like a weak excuse, but it's out of our hands. We can only effect an arrest. The case is adjudicated in court. I would say out of 250 girls, they haven't served a total of 30 days. And I think that we can deal with the problem, but only through incarceration. Fines mean nothing. The income far outweighs the fines or the number of times that we can arrest them and have them brought to court and fined.
But a first offender is rarely, if ever, sentenced to spend time in an Atlantic City jail for soliciting, and Jersey girls arrested for prostitution in Atlantic City usually don't have to raise bail money.
I don't think that heavier jail term. I think this is the legislature's opinion. I don't know why they lowered it, but I don't think the increasing it is the answer. Another $500, they can get that. You see, one more day's work. Another 30 days in jail, well, it only hits the taxpayers.
I really don't see a solution to the problem. What we're trying to do here is to drive the problem from the public's view. Total solution, I don't have.